Greetings, everyone. Thanks for stopping by your ministries of Muslims, the Moslem Ministry series. We come here daily and we bring you truth that you never heard before to show you how history has been reconstructed. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Just how this history, his story, how is it so reconstructed that people don't have a clue what really goes on, what really happened in the past. One way it's done it through movies and TV programs. TVs and movie programs are the greatest propaganda indoctrination tools there are. If you're not familiar with the meaning of those words, look them up. Indoctrination and propaganda. I'm going to give you one example of evidence. Then we're going to talk about this couple here before we leave. You remember the old Indian movies? Well, I do. Back in the day. They have reconstructed these movies to make the conqueror look like he belongs in this land, that this is his land. And the Indian, so called, are the invaders. Now, how did that happen? He found them here. He discovered them, but yet he's talking about how much they invaded his territory. We have the trail of the buffaloes. They slaughtered the buffaloes. Why did they slaughter the buffaloes? Because that was a source of life for the people who live as nomads on the prairie, the people who they brought here. Because the people who was here didn't live out in the country. They lived in prosperous cities, highly developed civilization. But you never know that by watching these westerns. You think nobody was here but the Indians and the settlers, which is another term for colonist or invader. They don't call themselves invader. They call themselves colonists. Even a real colonist wasn't who they say they are. So, let's talk about the buffalo. They killed the buffalo because that was the lifeblood of the people who were living on the plains. It provided food, clothing, shelter, light, everything they needed. They didn't waste anything of that buffalo. So the reasoning was because they couldn't catch the Indians, so-called. They knew the land, they knew how to avoid being captured. They decided to kill their source of livelihood, the buffalo. So they went on a campaign of just slaughtering the buffalo. No one today knows how many buffalo they killed and left to rot just to get back at the people who depending on this buffalo for their livelihood. Now you can do your research and find this fact, prove it to yourself. And I saw a TV program. Totally propaganda because people don't know the truth. They have to bring a TV program to indoctrinate the people to a narrative they want you to think. Now, this movie, you probably seen it if you're old school. This settler, this colonizer, was trying to save the buffalo. He had compassion for the buffalo. He accused the Indians of being savages and slaughtering the buffalo. Everything he did, he accused the so called Indians of doing. Just switch the whole narrative. Go watch this episode of Rawhide as an example. They're trying to save this old buffalo. The Indians want to kill it. It's such a pack of crock. It's sickening. It makes me sick to see how indoctrination and propaganda is put into these movies. So little doubt that people grow up dumb, stupid, don't know who they are, wanting to integrate with the oppressor. And that brings me to this picture here. She, poor thing, didn't know who she was. So she didn't know who he was. She didn't know his history. So she wound up a victim rather than a wife because he killed her. He killed his wife for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. But it's all because her parents didn't teach her the truth. Maybe her parents didn't know the truth. Maybe she ignored the truth. She didn't know her history. She surely didn't know his history. And that's still happening today. Our women are just throwing their lives away, thinking somebody cares for them who has no history of caring for us as a people. How can that be? How can a people who have no history, no remorse, who only propagandize and indoctrinate so we don't know true history, how can they really care for you? So be a wake-up call, people. Investigate. You've been duped. You've been misled. You've been misguided. And if you don't do that, you'll wind up dead. Now, yeah, we kill each other, sad to say, but they didn't find us doing that. No. Living in this country, this culture, his way of life, we took on his bad habits because that's not our nature. Killing, murdering, lying, stealing, that's not who we are. But when you're in a cage with a beast, you have to act like a beast to survive. When you're in cage with the beast, you have to act like a beast to survive, sadly. So we are doing the same thing to each other that he's done to us. Who is he? If you got to ask that question, you shouldn't be listening to me. This is real love talking, love for the truth, because you got to be truth. You got to tell it like it is. You got to be right. Tell the truth with all your might. You got to fight because that enemy is within. Your ignorance is your enemy. It's not without. If you don't search for the truth and teach it and preach it, your enemy will take you out. Thanks again for the increased readership and for sharing the videos. It's much appreciated. And Oh, let's see what kind of comments we got in here. Anybody have some intelligent comments? Mm, nope, nothing going on in the chat. So there you got it. Another edition of the Moslem Moors Ministries. It's ministers to the Moors who were misclassified as Indians, now call themselves Negro, Black, and Colored, which has no basis in law, no standing in law. It's like cartoon characters, like the show on TV. They're not even real. But you have a cartoon title you call yourself that has no origin, no history, no descendancy. And it's sad, this 21st century, you're calling yourself a slave title like black. So the Dominican who said, I'm no black, I know black, he knew what he was talking about. He know that black is a status, it's not an identity. But because you don't know any better, you say it's an identity. Disinheriting yourself from your land, your ancestors, and your people. Time out for all that, people. You need to study and learn who you are.